Hey, all you Minties, this is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today is the day. Today is the day that I get to read off and announce the top 50 most wanted Marvel Omnibus that you all voted for in Tigereyes' most wanted Marvel Omnibus poll. So, let's take a look together. Welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, a huge thank you to Tigereyes for not just putting this together this year, but putting this poll together every year for quite a number of years. So this is usually done in the Marvel Masterworks forum, and then word spreads, tweets are tweeted out, Instagrams are Instagrammed out. I'm so out of touch with social media. But anyway, he reached out to me a couple of weeks ago to see if I could tell you all about it, and I announced it last week on Saturday's live stream, and a bunch of you all went to vote. So what he does is every year he takes the votes that you all voted for and puts it together on a list of the top 50. So that's all I'll be announcing today. This isn't my list, it's the list that everybody voted for, if you voted for the Tigereyes most wanted Marvel Omnibus books. So some of these are mapped out, and that's one thing I was going to say is I'm just going to read off the list. Hey, talk a little bit about each one because it would take forever to sit here and map out each of these. Some of these you'll see in my upcoming Most Wanted X-Men Omnibus. A lot of these you will. And some of these you have seen already on my top 20 Most Wanted Marvel Omnibus. So again, this is your list, and again, a huge thank you to Tigereyes. I'll be putting the list in the description of the video once the video is over. And I'm pretty sure he's already shared it, or will share it in the Marvel Masterworks forum. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Number 50, so I'm going to do a countdown again. Number 50 is the Submariner Volume 1. And I think that is the Roy Thomas era, the late 60s, early 70s series. It is finally getting an epic collection. Number 49, Extreme X-Men, right there with you, Chris Claremont, Salvador Larroca, Igor Cordy, and I would love that series collected. Messiah Complex Saga. Now, the material for this was included, so I'm putting it here. That is number 48. And, of course, kicking it off with Endangered Species. Hopefully you got to see the Map My X yesterday when we talked about this particular era, and we came up with different omnibus. And number 47, Marvel Team Up Volume 1. I love this series. I think we only had one epic collection so far. Or is it... No, that's the Marvel 2-in-1. We don't have any team-ups yet. And team-up was the pretty much Marvel's way of introducing new characters or obscure characters or characters that weren't getting enough love to readers by making them read a story with Spider-Man. So they're always featured Spider-Man and somebody else. So I thought that was a really cool way of getting readers to try out new characters. 46 is Iron Man, The Silver Age, Volume 3. Long overdue, but I'm hoping that they will see sales and interest of Silver Age Omnis these days. Yes to number 45. QUASAR, that was almost in my top 20, by Mark Gruenwald. Issues 1 through 30 would be included in here. So you've got artwork in there by Greg Capullo, a redesign of the costume, and it's a very underrated series. Spider-Woman, hey, that was on my list, is number 44. Number 43, also on my list, was Punisher by Greg Rucka, and of course, Marco Checchetto. Number 42, X-Force, the Colin Yost era. And if you watch Map My X, you can see how we all mapped it out, and we all decided to map it out differently. Number 41, Silver Surfer by Jim Starlin. This would be a small omnibus because this would be issues 34 to 50, but it is the return of one of his favorite characters, Thanos, and of course leading into the Infinity Gauntlet and during the Infinity Gauntlet. Number 40, Captain Britain and the MI-13. Also one that I see happening due to the popularity of Captain Britain, the expanded omnibus, the Knights of Pendragon. So I can actually see Marvel making that. Iron Man by Matt Fraction. This is one that a lot of people have wanted. The artwork here is by Salvador Larroca. We had two oversized hardcovers in the past, so I can see them putting that together and making one omnibus. Number 38, Miracleman. The works of Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman. And Neil Gaiman was supposed to come back and wrap up the series. I don't know where this stands. So, and one of the things you'll see in here that you won't see on my list is licensed stuff too, which I love that they do this. because this is Dream Omnis, so of course you want to put it in there. Number 37, Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2. So here is a series that you all can make happen by spreading the word about that Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 reprint. Hopefully they will see sales of that and give us a Volume 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man. Daredevil Volume 2. This is the Silver Age stuff, so you guys have not lost hope for that. Meanwhile, Daredevil Omnibus Volume 1 is still sitting there. Been sitting there for a long time, still in print. So, I don't know about that one. Maybe one day. Number 35, X Factor Investigations by Peter David. Hell yes. All day, every day. Great, great choice. 34 is a tie. So the first book in there is called New Avengers Road to Secret Invasion. And whenever these are mapped out, I'll put the content somewhere on the video. So this leads into Secret Invasion. So if you have the Secret Invasion Omnibus, you don't need to purchase it again. Interesting mapping here. And number 34, the other book that was tied with New Avengers, Micronauts. Oh my gosh, yes, Bill Mantlo. And this is one that did not make my list because it's licensed. I think IDW owns the license now. And Michael Golden. Oh, I love this era. That's why we can't have the X-Men and the Micronauts miniseries collected in those X-Men Omnis. Number 33, you probably see this in my top 20 most wanted X-Men Omnis, and that is X-Men The Lost Years, pretty much the Marvel Masterworks 7 and 8 or Epic Volume 4 put together. And I would go so far as to say the hidden years need to be added in there, and I think I called it X-Men 2.5 Omnibus. But I kind of like the Lost Years. Number 32. Thunderbolts Volume 3. Hell yes. Already loving the announcement of Volume 2, and this would get us all the way through the new Thunderbolts era. Now, what's interesting is, would you still buy it if it collected the Fight Club year, or half a year? There's only 6 issues. But I would love to know that in the comments. Me, as a completist, oh yes, I would. Number 31. Okay, keep this in mind. Number 31 was Doctor Strange Silver Age 2. Now, this apparently has dropped off because I got to announce that. So that is coming. But you know what? I'm going to replace that with Doctor Strange Volume 3, the Steve Englehart series. And eventually was it Roger Stern, Chris Claremont, the Master of... what was it called? Whatever it was called, I can't recall off the top of my head. But I think that is one that needs to happen. That's an amazing series and has wonderful artwork, and hopefully one day it will be collected, because I think that's one that a lot of people were wondering what happened to it, because they would rather have that instead of Silver Age 2. But as you know, somebody that is a completist, I love that we're getting a Silver Age 2. They haven't forgotten about that. But anyway, let's keep going with the list. Master of the Mystic Arts. That's what it was called. Master of the Mystic Arts. Number 30, Spider-Man Alien Costume. So this would probably be the 2 complete collections put together. This is pretty much a precursor to the Spider-Man Venom Omnibus, or a precursor to the Spider-Man or Venom Omnibus. That kind of sounds redundant. Venom Omnibus. Sorry about that. But yes, this would be the Alien Saga, where he gets the black costume. It's the alien costume. They fight. Bells. Well, Spider-Man #1 cover, though. Number 29, Generation X Volume 1. Collecting issues 1 through 25 and some of the annuals. So this has the Scott Lobdell stuff, the Chris Bacalo artwork. I love this era. And we're getting an epic, so chances are pretty high. Number 28, The Incredible Hulk by Bill Mantlo. Only if they're able to get the ROM in there, so they don't skip any issues. I would be all over that. Number 27, hey, this was my number 1, and that is Spider-Man 2099. This is some classic stuff by Peter David, Rick Leonardi. Number 26, Amazing Spider-Man by Tom DeFalco, Volume 1. So I like that. I like the idea of having a Tom DeFalco Amazing Spider-Man. This is the series that happened after Roger Stern. Actually, Tom DeFalco got to wrap up some of the Roger Stern storylines and do some of the dialogue because, well, Roger Stern had exited Spider-Man at the time. Number 25, Iron Man by David Michelinie, Volume 2. This is his return. So the way this would be mapped would be Volume 1, the Michelinie Bob Layton stuff, the Dennis O'Neil Omnibus that I put in my top 20, and then this would be the next Omnibus So after the Dennis O'Neil stuff, when David Michelinie comes back, yes, I would be all over that. Number 24. So happy to see this on the list. So high. Wolverine, Volume 3. So collecting issues 31 through 57 is the way they have this mapped out. I think when we did Map My X, we did Wolverine Volumes 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken. And this would be the Larry Hama stuff with Mark Silvestri era. Star Wars. This is... Oh! Star Wars Volume 2 then. This would be the Kieran Gillen and Greg Pak era, so issues 38 through 75. And honestly, this could all be done in one omnibus. And a lot of people have been wanting this because the Jason Aaron book, it's been out for a while. And I think everybody that has wanted it has picked it up already. Number 22, Fantastic Four Volume 5. Volume 4 hasn't even come out yet. I love that this is already on the list. Some great stories in here. Number 21, which is also in my top 20, is Ghost Rider, the Danny Ketch era, Volume 1. I'd love to know how that's mapped out. I mapped it out with some inclusions of the Rise of the Midnight Suns era. Number 20, Moon Knight Volume 2. So this will finish out the Doug Mensch stuff. It will still have some of the Bill Sienkiewicz artwork. Number 19 is pretty interesting. I didn't even know this was an option, or I don't know how I feel about this, but this is X-Men Inferno Aftermath. There's a lot in here, or what may seem like a lot, but there's a lot of Marvel Comics Presents stories in here. And these were 8 pages in each issue. So the Colossus story was awesome. That was the one with Rick Leonardi. So this is some pretty interesting mapping. I didn't even think about this. I love the optional Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown miniseries in there. And then X Factor 41 through 59 is also interesting because that is an era, what is that, the Judgment War era, the post-Inferno era that has not been collected in oversized format. I like the addition of that. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but that's pretty interesting. And it made it high on here, made it up to number 19. Number 18, Avengers Volume 5. So we have Avengers Volume 4. When did that come out? About 2 years ago, I want to say. So maybe Volume 5 might come out when the next big Avengers movie. I don't even know if they'll wait that long, honestly. I think that might actually come out sooner than later. Number 17, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6. Look at you all, just putting it in there. I love it. Now, would that be big enough to match up Volume 5 and the Roger Stern Omnibus? Or, I think there's enough material for 2, really. But, I mean, it would be one big omnibus if Volume 6 is to match up or fill in that gap between 5 and Roger Stern. And speaking of Spider-Man, we're not done with that guy. Number 16 is Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1. Alright. I mean, I think it's due time that one of his spin-off series gets their own omnibus. I mean, okay, we've had Untold Tales, we've had Tangled Web, but that's are kind of all and done. We've had Venom Omnibus, we've had Carnage. So, you know, in the X-Men, Uncanny has spun off. We've had Excalibur, New Mutants, Wolverine. So I think it's time that we get another Spider-Man movie. We've got the Masterwork files out there. It would be really good to see that come out in omnibus format, honestly. Number 15, love seeing this on here. X-Men by Mike Carey, Volume 1. So you would have the Children of the Vault storyline, the Marauder storyline, leading into X-Men Legacy. But would you include... No. I think I would skip the issues of X-Men that are part of the Messiah complex. But that's just my mapping. Number 14, House of M. I think this is one that a lot of people want, and our surprise still isn't out because of the popularity of WandaVision. Number 13, Romnibus. Just sounds so good. So perfect. Man, I know there's people that probably want this that work at Marvel, but those licenses, huh? One day maybe. Bill Mantlo, that was a lot of fun. I don't care if some people thought it was nothing but a toy commercial, but you know what? So is Transformers, and that's still, I'm so fond of that stuff. Number 12, Captain America by Mark Gruenwald. Well done. Volume 1, yeah. I think I put it at 4 volumes is what I had, 4 or 3 volumes, can't remember, but it definitely needs to happen. All right, here's some wishful thinking, I love it, but hey, this is high up there. Number 11 is Hulk, the Silver Age Volume 2. Well, it just announced a reprint of Volume 1, so depending on the sales of that, maybe, that's a strong maybe. Number 10, Silver Surfer by Steve Englehart. So this is the first 30-some issues, 34 I think, before Jim Starlin took over the run of Silver Surfer. And that's Silver Surfer Volume 3. So, man, that is up there. People really want their Silver Surfer by Steve Englehart. It's great artwork, too. Black Panther by Christopher Priest also made it on my list in Volume 1. I think that can be done in 2 volumes. And I really want that run, too. It's stellar if you've not read it. Number 8, Superior Spider-Man. You know, that was on my list in 2019. I took it off the list this time around. I don't know, because I think I'm thinking the older I get, the more completist I want, and I would rather have a Brand New Day era of Spider-Man before a Superior Spider-Man. Now, this was on my list, though. Number 7, Alpha Flight Volume 2. I even mapped it out if you want to go back and watch that. Number 6, Amazing Spider-Man by David Michelinie and Mark Bagley. Also on my list. Now, I included some issues, if you probably saw in there, of Amazing Spider-Man. I think they were the J.M. Dematties issues. But I didn't want them orphaned because I needed those issues in there to match up perfectly to the Clone Saga Volume 1. Number 5, we're getting into our top 5. Avengers by Uncle Roger Stern. Volume 1. Yes, that totally needs to happen. Oh, that was on my list as well. I love that era of Avengers. It was such man, they're so under siege. Oh, that storyline is so good. Monica Rambeau. I think with the popularity of Monica Rambeau, honestly, put her on the cover. Make that happen. Spectacular Spider-Man by J.M. Dematties. What a class. Oh, my wife would be, this is her number 1 choice. That's what she wants. She wants a Spectacular Spider-Man by J.M. Dematties Omnibus. That was her, like, especially those later issues with Sal Buscema. Oh, they're so good. Number 3, also on my list, is Daredevil by Ann Nocenti. I'm glad that there was when I made mention of how I didn't know that there were people that existed that didn't like her run. I talked to a bunch of people in the comments section, and some reached out to me saying how much they appreciated her run, how much they liked it, but they could see why people didn't like the run, because it's so different than, you know, the Frank Miller era, especially the Born Again era. And it is, but I still love it. Number 2, of course this is on there, Thor by Jason Aaron. Yeah, but I left that off my list because I honestly think that's gonna happen. I mean, there's no way that they don't. Watch Marvel prove me wrong. And number 1, Uncanny X-Men Volume 5. Of course. That you got a bunch of X-Men lovers, man. That's always that always takes this top slot. Man, it would be great to have it. Now, if you watch my Map My X, do you agree? Is it going to be 2 books between Uncanny 4 and Mutant Massacre, or just 1? Leave those comments down below. But that is the list. So again, thank you so much to Tigereyes for letting me read off the list. This was a lot of fun to read here, and I really wanted to map it out, but that would have taken a long time. I will leave the full list in the description of the video. Don't forget to visit the Marvel Masterworks forum. I'm pretty sure he's already posted it there. And if you have questions about a lot of these stuff, I learned a lot through the Marvel Masterworks forums when I used to frequent there a few years back. They've been around for quite a number of years, and a lot of those people that are in those forums have been collecting these collected editions since the very first Marvel Masterworks. So they're a brain trust of all this knowledge when it comes to collected editions. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notification. Check out our Patreon. Check out our Spread Shop. Great ways to support the channel if you can do so. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. And remember, stay healthy, stay safe. Much love.